Minnesota musicians are finally being recognized for their part in one of Bob Dylan's most famous albums. Dylan recorded Blood on the Tracks in New York in 1974. He didn't like what he heard, so he redid half of the songs in Minnesota. But the Minnesotans who helped didn't get credit. Jennifer Merrily tells us how that changed yesterday with the release of More Blood, More Tracks, the bootleg series.
History has decided that 3 days was something special.
December of 1974, 6 young musicians were pulled into Minneapolis's Sound 80. It started with Bob Dylan's brother looking for a particular guitar and turned into some of Dylan's most memorable tracks.
But I had no idea what I was getting into. And I mean, you can't make this history up. You can't try for this your whole life.
Kevin Odegaard recalls the synergy in the room and says Dylan was open.
We're from Minnesota. He's from Minnesota.
Yeah.
He was Bobby Zimmerman. He wasn't Bob Dylan. There was no movie star. There was no superstar. There was no celebrity going on in that room at all.
Drummer Bill Berg sketched these recreations of the sessions. The musicians learned Dylan wasn't satisfied with some of his recordings, and while home in Minnesota, he decided to give them another go. No pictures were allowed to document the magic that unfolded.
It was only going to be one song, but he liked Idiot Wind enough to go on to the second song. One song at a time, and we got through 5.
It's Tangled Up in Blue that truly struck a chord with Odegaard. It started in the key of G.
Bob comes out to do it, and we play it, and it's just okay.
What did you say to Bob Dylan when he asked you what you thought about Tangled Up in Blue?
Well, there was a long silence, and I forgot where I was. So I said, you know, I think that would sound better up a note. I think it would sound great in the key of A. It'd be more urgent.
They got it in one take.
It became more desperate sounding. It was like silence after that, and we kind of looking around like, did that feel as good as I think it felt?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Did you know at that moment, at that age, that this was going to be such a classic?
We knew it was, greatness.
Because there was that pause.
And Bob did too.
Dylan released Blood on the Tracks a month later, with their sound on the album, but their names were missing. Early record jackets had already been printed.
And I look at the back and I'm going, oh, well, you know, they're going to fix that pretty quickly.
But the names were never updated on future jacket prints. Odegaard set out to set the record straight.
It was serious for me because I got 3 of the guys in the room.
Yeah.
And I'm a Midwestern kid with a conscience, and this happens, and the record comes out, and I honestly lost a lot of sleep.
Over the years, an attempt to give the Minnesota musicians credit was made, but their names were misspelled. Odegaard wrote a book about the making of the album. Piece by piece, it created a buzz with die-hard Dylan fans.
Everything kind of blew this up, like who are these mystery guys that made all these hits?
With the 2018 release of More Blood, More Tracks, it all comes full circle.
There they are.
Yeah, that's correct.
In black and white, with what songs we played on. And today, we, you know.
Yeah, here we are.
We're blood brothers. We are bonded. We didn't intend for things to happen, but life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. And it's all a great big accident, happy accident now. Listen to this.
The newly released bootleg series has a more clear sound. The production extras were stripped out, and the listener is left with the original recordings. It's a moment to take it all in, to pause and reflect on the journey.
We can put all the angst and worry behind us now.
There you did it. You did it. Everything came to fruition, man.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you for staying on it.
Jennifer Merrily, WCCO 4 News.
That is cool. Blood on the Tracks was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame in 2015. More Blood, More Tracks came out yesterday. Odegaard became an advocate for songwriters' rights. Peterson played with other notable musicians you might have heard of, the Steve Miller Band and Leo Kottke.